If you have been realizing what is going on in our country today, even public servants and civil servants who have what it takes to also access public facilities as enshrined in our constitutions are being sacked. But our president, presenting his statement, made it clear that he is in this position to make sure that equality and equitability prevailed. But what we are seeing in our country today is never true. It's the opposite. Clearly, the world went through one of the most unfortunate economic crises. You realize that the global economy grew negative 3.3. Inflationary rate post-COVID was over 200%. And that was the period that our economy actually went through very turbulent times and crisis. So we appreciate that fact. When in the history of this country that we witness a society or a country such as Ghana whose productivity was impaired to the extent that Ghanaians were asked to stay home, but they were paid by the MPP government. Private sector had to sack over 40,000 people. Payee corporate taxes went so low that we had revenue shortfall of over 12 billion Ghana cedis. So definitely the world crisis affected us because we are an import-driven economy. These were the facts that we're expecting our president to have told all of you. But he only concentrated on a lot of misinformation. Ladies and gentlemen, 2016, GDP growth was 3.4. Industry was 4.3. Agriculture was 2.7. Service was 2.8. But when we were leaving power, November 2024, our GDP was growing almost twice as 2016, and that was 6.3. Our agriculture was growing 4.5. Our industry was growing 8.9. Our services was also growing 5.0. So the economy that they inherited, almost all the secondary macro indicators that are very vital appraisal to KPIs were outperforming what we inherited 2016. Go and check our primary balance. Go and check our trade balance. Of course, inflation rate was around 23%. We took over 15.4. Don't forget that the severity of the crisis made us have inflation rate of 54.1. But because of the prudent economic management of the MPP government, we're able to reduce it up to 23%, from 54.1 up to 22. The exchange rate went to 54%. Look at T-bills, they all came as low as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one thing I want you to know, that our president did not address the true state of the nation's economy. We have a lot, time will not allow me. One statement that he made that I was very much surprised was the fact that we had left billions of cedis at the defense ministry. But he failed to tell us the crisis that was looming. He himself emphasized the point that our boundaries were threatening our country. In fact, this is what I'll hand over to you. At the defense ministry, unprecedented achievements in the area of acquisition of equipment that has given us security as a country. He did not talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, our president failed to talk about the fact that Agenda 111 is ongoing, and that some of the projects we have completed is about continuity. Government is about continuing what have been done. You remember the popular affordable house by Amampeyi Kufuor. Previous government, being the NDC, abandoned this project, it had to take Nanado and Baumia's government to even complete those projects. Now he talked about railway sector. Tell me, in the history of this country, apart from Nanado's government, who has accomplished unprecedented projects in the area of railway sector? Driving from here to Ho, you encounter about such major railway projects for crossing the roads. We have commissioned some of them and even brought into practice or operation coaches that are operating now. So if the president is trying to create the impression that the economy was so bad and it was criminally mismanaged, that is the reason he's been given the mandate. And that is why he was trying to intimidate the judiciary by describing the judiciary in a bad way. But ladies and gentlemen, the same economy was able to take care of the poor child, implementing most of the enviable projects in terms of social intervention in kind and in cash on the continent of Africa and on the globe. But for free SHS, over 100,000 young ones would have been home. But for Nanado's government, NHIS had already collapsed under first Mahama's administration. School feeding had collapsed. LEAP had collapsed. In fact, teachers and nurses' allowances, the most essential services in any economic jurisdiction, is education and health. But he cancelled all of them, making some of poor Ghanaians coming home only to be confronted with unwanted pregnancies, and some got into drugs. So we are saying that NPP government, in spite of the economic crisis that was unprecedented since the First World War, we've been able to restore the economy. We handed over a restored economy to the Mahama government, a working economy. Operationally, it was so fundamentally correct that the economy that we left, in terms of primary macro indicators, in terms of secondary macro indicators, in terms of education, in terms of agriculture, in terms of health, they actually inherited a better economy. All the payments he's talking about, where did they get money from? Where did they get money from? Within this shortest possible time, they have borrowed almost 59 billion Ghana cedis.
Only in 50 days.
Only in 50 days. Less than 2 months. Less than 2 months. Mahama's administration has borrowed 59 billion, unprecedented. So all that we are telling you is that Ghanaians have given them the mandate. Ghanaians are expecting them to treat everyone, whether you are from the north or south or central part of Ghana, whether you are Nilaye or Kwame Asante or Delali or Amegashi. Ghana is one country with one people, with one destiny. Why are they even sacking nurses and teachers? Whilst in most of the communities in the northern part, Ashanti, and in the Volta region, they don't even have teachers and nurses. In conclusion, we want to tell you that in the first place, the economic figures have indicated us that we left a better economy. Secondly, the proper policies that are betterly managed are indicative of the fact that our economy was good enough. The process of it have been used to manage the proper policies. Another thing that we left was a better security, safety, fundamental human rights. Ghana was peaceful. We were living together till they took over. So we don't want you people to go out there and be deceived. At the appropriate time, we'll give you details of every bit of the economy and then the social framework of this country that we left as a government. Go and count the number of STEM schools we built. Go and count the number of school buildings we put up. Go and count the number of health facilities. Go to the police. Go to the army. Go to all the security agencies. Unprecedented developmental achievement. So in conclusion, I would like to conclude by saying that the NPP government actually left a well-restored economy after what Ghana went through as a result of the severe economic crisis. Ghanaians were still enjoying the social interventions that I named all of them. Yes, Ghana went through challenges, but before we left, these challenges had been dealt with and the economy had been put on a very sound footing for the NDC government to continue the good job that we did. Thank you very much for giving us your attention.